Hydras's slimy tentacles sliced into the Arcturan counselor's skull, ripping out chunks of brain matter as the telepath devoured his latest victim's mind. "Send a human negotiator in 3 days or the others die too," the 5-meter amphibian projected into the horrified brains of the Galactic Council. The emergency meeting erupted into chaos. Shrieks and wails filled the chamber as delegates realized the true horror of the situation. The Eliani had effortlessly mind-controlled and captured a delegation of the galaxy's brightest diplomats. No race had ever broken free of their telepathic enslavement, and now 19 more hostages would be lobotomized by Hydras unless the Council acted fast. "It has to be Joseph Rice," Chairman Zorax declared, slamming a tentacle on the table. The seasoned human explorer was their only hope. Rice's unorthodox negotiation methods had resolved crises deemed impossible. His mind was a fortress, shielded by mental disciplines unknown to other species. But as Joseph prepped his starship, he felt a rare sensation, pure fear. Eliani telepaths had enslaved every sentient they encountered for millennia. Even humanity's greatest psychics were powerless against them. If Joseph failed, the hostages would suffer fates worse than death, their minds permanently shattered, and the Eliani would rampage unchecked, free to conquer the galaxy at last. The human clenched his jaw and fired up the warp drive. He had just 3 days to attempt the impossible, tame the untamable Eliani, or watch the galaxy burn. Humanity was the only species stubborn enough to try. Joseph just prayed he wouldn't be the first to fail. As Joseph approached the planet Zephyrus in the Starfire, his comm console crackled to life. The image of a 4-meter-long Eliani filled the view screen, its tentacles writhing. "Human vessel, this is Commander Nix of the Eliani Defense Force. You are trespassing in restricted space. Surrender your ship immediately and submit to the authority of the Eliani Dominion, or be destroyed." Joseph took a deep breath, his mind racing. He had prepared for this moment, studying Eliani culture and customs. He knew that the Eliani respected strength and confidence above all else. "Commander Nix, I am Joseph Rice, a representative of the Galactic Council. I come bearing a message for High Commander Hydras. I must be allowed to land and deliver it personally." Nix's eyes narrowed. "The Galactic Council has no authority here, human. Hydras answers to no one. And yet the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance. The Council is prepared to negotiate a peaceful resolution, but only if I am permitted to speak with Hydras directly." There was a long pause. Finally, Nix spoke. "Very well, human. You may proceed to the surface, but your ship will be escorted by my warships. Any deviation from your course, and you will be eliminated." As Joseph landed on Zephyrus, he was surrounded by a phalanx of Eliani warriors, each wielding a massive plasma rifle. The warrior in the lead was even larger than the others, towering over Joseph at 6 meters tall. "I am Typhon, second to High Commander Hydras," the Eliani boomed. "You will follow me, human." Suddenly, Joseph felt a searing pain in his mind as Typhon unleashed a telepathic probe, trying to rip through his mental defenses. But Joseph had trained extensively with human psychics to resist such attacks. He gritted his teeth and pushed back, his mind an impenetrable fortress. Typhon reeled back, shock registering in his eyes. "Impossible," he hissed. "No being has ever resisted our telepathy." Joseph smiled grimly. "I am not like other beings." As Typhon led him into Hydras's underwater palace, Joseph marveled at the structure, carved into a massive coral reef. But what caught his eye were the strange, glowing symbols etched into the walls, an ancient Eleni script, long thought lost. Joseph's heart raced as he realized the significance of the discovery. Deciphering this script could be the key to understanding the Eliani's sudden aggression and negotiating the release of the hostages. But he would have to tread carefully. One wrong move, and the galaxy would burn. Joseph glided through the shimmering force field at the entrance of Hydras's throne room, his heart racing. What he saw inside made his blood run cold. The captured Galactic Council diplomats hung suspended in glowing energy cages, their faces gaunt and eyes dull. Some mumbled incoherently, while others stared blankly ahead, their minds shattered by Eliani telepathy. At the center of the room, Hydrus lounged on a massive coral throne, his emerald eyes glinting in the dim light. A crown of writhing bioluminescent tendrils adorned his head, pulsing with an eerie glow. The High Commander regarded Joseph with a mix of curiosity and contempt. "A human," Hydrus mused, his voice a rumbling growl. "Your kind has never before set foot on Zephyrus. Why has the Council sent you to die?" Joseph took a deep breath, steeling himself. He crossed his arms over his chest and bowed deeply, the traditional Eliani salute. Hydrus's eyes widened in surprise. "High Commander Hydrus," Joseph said, his voice steady, "I come not to die but to negotiate. The Galactic Council seeks a peaceful resolution to this crisis." Hydrus leaned forward, his tendrils writhing. "You know our customs, human. Rare for your species. But what can you offer that countless diplomats before you could not?" Joseph met Hydrus's gaze unflinchingly. "I have studied the ancient script adorning your palace walls. It speaks of a prophecy, a great betrayal by the other galactic species. I believe this prophecy is key to understanding your sudden aggression." Hydrus rose to his full height, towering over Joseph. "You dare speak of our most sacred texts, of secrets lost to time?" "I do," Joseph said, his voice unwavering. "I propose a deal. Release the hostages, agree to negotiate with the Council, and I will uncover the truth behind this prophecy. I will prove that the other species have not betrayed you." For a long moment Hydrus was silent, his emerald eyes boring into Joseph's. Then slowly he nodded. "Very well, human. Your knowledge of our ways has earned you a chance. I will release half the hostages as a show of good faith, but you must remain on Zephyrus until the prophecy is deciphered and our concerns addressed. If you fail, your life is forfeit." Joseph bowed again. "I accept your terms, High Commander." At a gesture from Hydrus, several of the energy cages winked out, and the captives within slumped to the floor. Eliani guards hauled them to their feet and escorted them from the throne room. As the doors slammed shut behind them, Joseph turned to the ancient script on the walls, his mind racing. The fate of the hostages and the future of galactic peace itself now rested on his shoulders. He had to decipher the prophecy, and fast. The clock was ticking. Joseph pored over the glowing Eliani script, his eyes straining in the dim light of the ancient archives. The intricate symbols seemed to dance before him, taunting him with their secrets. But with each passing hour, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. "The heart of the ocean," Joseph muttered, tracing a line of text with his finger. "A source of immense power, hidden away to protect the Eliani from destruction." Nereus, a young Eliani scholar with shimmering silver scales, leaned in closer. "The prophecy speaks of a great betrayal, a warning that the heart must never fall into the wrong hands." Joseph nodded, his mind racing. If he could find the heart, perhaps he could use it to negotiate a peaceful resolution between the Eliani and the Galactic Council. But first, he had to locate it. As Joseph and Nereus delved deeper into the archives, they uncovered a series of cryptic messages left by the prophet Oceanus millennia ago. Each message contained a clue, leading them closer to the heart's location. "The sacred temple," Nereus whispered, his eyes wide with realization. "The heart must be hidden within its walls." Joseph gathered a team of 5 Eliani warriors, handpicked by Hydrus for their strength and loyalty. Together, they set out for the temple, located at the heart of the Eliani capital city. The journey through the temple's underwater passages was treacherous. Ancient traps, long forgotten by the Eliani, threatened to ensnare them at every turn. Ferocious sea creatures, drawn to the temple's power, attacked with a fury that even the skilled warriors struggled to match. As they neared the chamber where the heart was believed to be hidden, Joseph heard the sound of approaching footsteps. He signaled for the others to take cover, his hand reaching for his plasma pistol. Suddenly, a group of heavily armed Eleani rebels burst into the chamber, led by none other than Commander Nyx. Joseph's eyes narrowed as he realized the truth. Nyx had betrayed Hydrus, seeking to claim the heart for himself. "Did you really think you could keep the heart from me, human?" Nyx sneered, his tentacles writhing with anticipation. Joseph stepped forward, his weapon trained on the rebel leader. "I won't let you plunge the galaxy into chaos, Nyx." The chamber erupted into a flurry of plasma fire and flashing blades, as Joseph and his allies clashed with the rebels. Joseph's combat skills, honed through years of exploring hostile alien worlds, proved invaluable as he dodged and weaved through the chaos, taking down rebel after rebel with precise shots from his pistol. But Nyx was a formidable opponent, his telepathic powers almost a match for Joseph's mental defenses. As the two leaders faced off, Nyx unleashed a devastating psychic blast that sent Joseph flying across the chamber. Joseph picked himself up from the chamber floor, his body aching from the brutal fight with Nyx and her rebel forces. The Eleani warriors who had fought alongside him lay motionless, their minds overwhelmed by the powerful telepathic field emanating from the heart of the ocean. Joseph approached the ancient artifact, a massive orb pulsing with an eerie blue light. As he reached out to take the heart, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. "Stop right there, human." Joseph whirled around to see Hydrus emerging from the shadows, his emerald eyes gleaming with malice. "You have done well to find the heart, but now you must hand it over to me." "I can't do that, Hydrus," Joseph replied, his voice steady despite the fear gripping his heart. "The heart's power is too great for any one species to control." Hydrus laughed, a chilling sound that reverberated off the ancient walls. "You foolish human. With the heart's power, I will subjugate the other galactic species and establish Eleani dominance. The galaxy will tremble before us." Joseph shook his head. "I won't let that happen." The two leaders circled each other, their eyes locked in a battle of wills. Suddenly, Hydrus lunged forward, his tentacles lashing out like whips. Joseph dodged the attack, rolling to the side and coming up with his plasma pistol in hand. The battle was fierce, with Joseph's human ingenuity and determination pitted against Hydrus's raw strength and telepathic abilities. The temple shook with the force of their blows, ancient stone crumbling around them. As Hydrus closed in for a final devastating strike, Joseph made a desperate gamble. Reaching out with his mind, he tapped into the heart's power, channeling its energy through his unique human physiology. A blinding blast of psychic energy erupted from Joseph's body, slamming into Hydrus with the force of a supernova. The High Commander let out a scream of agony as the blast overwhelmed his mind, leaving him catatonic. Joseph staggered back, his body racked with pain. He had stopped Hydrus, but the strain of wielding the heart's power had taken a terrible toll. As he collapsed to the ground, Joseph felt a pair of strong arms catch him. It was Nereus, his loyal Eleani friend and ally. "Joseph!" Nereus cried out, cradling the human's broken body. With the last of his strength, Joseph pressed the heart into Nereus's hands. "Take it," he gasped. "Use its power to forge a new era of peace and understanding between our peoples." Nereus nodded, tears streaming down his face. "I promise, my friend, your sacrifice will not be in vain." As the light faded from Joseph's eyes, Nereus let out a howl of grief that echoed through the temple. The heart of the ocean pulsed in his hands, a reminder of the incredible potential for both good and ill that lay within the human spirit. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.